I would like to call the September 19, 2017 business meeting to order at 7:32. Roll call, Ruth Ann.
Member Carter?
Here.
Member Hall?
Here.
Member Patton?
Here.
Member Pulaski?
Here.
Member Fisher is here, and Vice President Rollins Gay.
Here. Don, are there any additions or corrections to our modifications to the agenda?
Not tonight, no.
Okay, do we have any citizen statements? They're the little goldenrod sheets that are over there at that table, if anybody would like to pick them up. And we'll give you a few minutes if there are some. Seeing there's none, I would like to thank Joey Wright for operating the camera for us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. There is no call for an executive session, so I'm asking now for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All that are in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No accommodations or recognitions, so no policy review at this time. So I think I'm going to turn it over to Don.
Yep. We have one administrative report tonight. I'd like to bring forward Molly Delaney, the Champaign-Urbana Schools Executive Director. And should I bring up Amanda now too? Yes. And Amanda Rosser, who is a teacher at Urbana High School and a recipient of one of the collaborative grants from last year. And I will let Molly talk about the new initiative that Champaign-Urbana Schools Foundation has called the 365 Club. Which
Giving away all my secrets.
I'm just talking long enough so that you can't pull up YouTube. And then Amanda will talk about the collaborative grant that she was a part of and the impact on students last year. Take it away, Molly. I'll stop
Okay,
talking.
and Don, how can we get the,
You open the sliding, yep, on top.
there you go, just like that?
Yeah.
And there it is.
Voila.
So you may have already heard this information because it is on billboards
Yeah.
and bus placards all over town, but we are celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
Woohoo, yeah.
So we're just getting started. It's a year-long celebration. And as part of that, as Don mentioned, we've launched a new initiative called the 365 Club, and I will put on my I Love Public Education shirt very shortly, I promise. But the 365 Club is we're trying to encourage donors, businesses to support creativity and innovation in our local public schools at the rate of $1 a day, so $365 a year. And we hope to have 365 members before the end of this school year. And we're already at 130, so we're well on our way, and we're going to keep pushing till we get there. We kicked off this initiative with a 365 Club breakfast on Thursday, August 24th at the I Hotel. And we had teachers and students join us to share their experiences with projects that we funded last year. So that's why Amanda is here. It was a wonderful celebration. And we had, I brought a couple of examples, another one including Amanda to share with you. But first I wanted to thank Dr. Owen for this. So Dr. Owen and Dr. Zola, AKA the Voices of Leadership, made their official debut. They performed Seasons of Love from Rent, because you know it has 525,000 minutes, okay, yeah. So they were, seriously, they were wonderful. And I think they were the tipping point for some tentative donors, so it was great. I won't show you the video clip of them. I know Donna's just over there going, she can't do it. But I have it, so you know, if you want to contact me privately, I'm very happy to send it. But I am going to show you one of the videos that we showed that morning, and it's of Urbana teacher Kara Marizi's class, and I'm just, where did I lose it? Thank you. No, there we go. Okay, so hang on a second here, and we'll pull it up. I'm going to stop it. No, stop, kids. Wait for a minute. Kara is a music teacher at King Elementary, and she teamed up with another teacher at King, Lisa Ferguson, on a grant proposal last year to connect next generation science standards with the arts. They developed lessons in 5 subject areas, and each lesson fused art, literacy, and science. Last October, their proposal was funded through the Champaign-Urbana Schools Foundation Idea Grant program, and Kara could not be with us here tonight because she has class. So she asked me to share the following statement with you. King is always anxiously awaiting the fall and the return of the caterpillars to feast on the courtyard of milkweed. Our mascot happens to be the monarch, so it's quite fitting that students should study the life cycle of the monarch butterfly. Last year, Lisa Ferguson wanted to make sure that students had the most inclusive study they could. She asked that we work together on a series of projects, including this one, so that we could cover multiple modes of learning and reach all students. In her classroom, students read books, asked questions, and studied the life cycle of the monarch butterfly. Then they came to me outside of fine arts time to learn a song about the life cycle. After they knew the song and could sing it, we discussed the phases of the life cycle, and students created a pose for each stage. We photographed the students modeling the poses. Then we learned parts of a rap, parts of a rap about the monarch. Lisa created wings with material for the students to wear. Using a green screen, I filmed the students dancing and fluttering. Then I put all of the footage together to make a music video, which you will see today. Each student was able to take home a copy of the video on DVD. In the spring, students worked to plant and cultivate new milkweed in the courtyard for the next cycle in the fall. Because of this grant, we were able to purchase the materials we needed to complete this extensive unit, along with other units. So they had 5 units total, and this is just one of them. We were able to purchase a stand for my existing green screen, iPad stands for filming, books about butterflies, milkweed seeds, materials for the wings, and DVDs for the student copies. This was only a small part of the projects we funded with this grant. We're grateful to CUSF for the resources that we've been able to use with our students. So let's take a look at what Kara and her students created. Where is it? Where's it coming out? It is all the way up. So Don, where is the speaker? Yeah. It's over on this side.
Well. Go to the volume.
Okay.
I
It's already up. Yeah. It's up all the way.
Butterfly, oh butterfly, that's how you came to be. Oh pretty, pretty butterfly, that's how you came to be.
How does a caterpillar change into a butterfly?
Metamorphosis, metamorphosis, it's a complete change of form. From a caterpillar to a butterfly, that is your life cycle.
A butterfly has 3 main body parts. They have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. A proboscis that drinks food from a straw. 6 legs, 4 wings, 2 antennae. A butterfly has 3 main body parts. They have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. A
cute, right?
Egg
That was one that was already, so they found that wrap and then they just, yeah. Oh. That I don't know. I don't know. We can confirm that with Kara though. So now it's really loud. I'd like to introduce Amanda next. And 2 years ago, as Don was saying, we started a new grant category called collaborative grants. And these grants are for large cross-district projects for up to $5,000. And the projects have to serve both Champaign Unit 4 and Urbana School District 116. In addition, they have to encourage creativity, idea sharing, and innovation. So we'll be awarding at least 3 new collaborative grants in the 2017-2018 school year. And we so far, for the 2 that we've awarded, we've been able to sustain both of those. So Amanda is here to tell you about last year's recipient, and that project was called Creating Sustainable Nutrition Through Education. And there were many different facets of it, and she's going to talk about one particular aspect of it that occurred at Urbana High School last fall that was kind of a culminating activity.
So I'm Amanda Perez-Rosser. I teach at Urbana High School. I'm the Family and Consumer Science teacher. We collaborated with Julie Andrews, who is at Edison Middle School. And so she bused her middle schoolers over to the high school. So one of the larger kind of outcomes, as Molly was saying, was we wanted to collaborate and we wanted students to interact with each other. We also wanted them to make a connection between the food that we grew. We started a garden with this grant, and then we also took a field trip out to Fowler Farms because Unit 4 has a large plot of land. So we wanted the students to be able to make connections between foods that they saw in those gardens and then how to transform them into dishes that they would actually want to eat. So we decided the best way to do this was a chop challenge. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that TV show, but students walked in, they were put into mixed groups, so mostly mixed groups, so high schoolers and middle schoolers. They just met that day just to add to the challenge, and they were given 2 greens from the garden at Urbana High School. They had to use 2 greens, and then eggs, because at Fowler Farms they have chickens. So they had to create a dish using 2 greens and the chickens. One of the cooler things for me was to see my high schoolers all of a sudden turn into these really mature mentors. And then it was also really fun to see the middle schoolers open up. You could tell they were terrified just like walking into our building. And then they were even more terrified when they had to work with the high schoolers. But like 10 minutes into it, they were sharing ideas, collaborating. And so it was really cool to see that teamwork. So then they had judges. So we had judges from the community come in. We had judges that worked at Harvest Market, the nutritionist at Harvest Market. We had Chef Alan Schallenberger, who just opened 2 food trucks. And the judges were really impressed. Adam said, doing the CHOP challenge taught all kids that they can think on their feet, create something wonderful, and in the end be winners at accomplishing a task. I absolutely loved the passion in some of the teams I witnessed today. So in the presentation, students had to address things like food safety and sanitation, nutritional aspects, and then garnishing and knife skills. So they had a lot to do, not even to mention teamwork and collaboration. So I think we have a video.
I just had to figure out. So this is the team that won the CHOP challenge. This is their presentation.
What we did to make this dish is Elise here cut holes into the English muffins and put butter on them. And then she prepared the kale and lettuce by cutting it. And then I fried the eggs.
And we sprinkled a little bit of blended peppers and sriracha. And then to prioritize hygienic values, we cleaned our hands and we cleaned everything.
I've never heard it said that way. Prioritize hygienic values.
I had to use fancy words that there's nothing.
That's pretty good.
That works.
I'm gonna write it on my whiteboard when I get back to
And then I'd say our dish is pretty healthy. We have the kale and lettuce, which has iron and vitamin C in it, which vitamin C, as you know, helps heal wounds. And then the cheese has calcium in it, good for teeth and bones. And then our English muffin is whole grain, so that's fiber. Yeah, it has fiber. And then our egg, obviously, is a part of the protein food group, so that helps our muscles.
So that's it. I think Amanda and her team did a fantastic job and really deserve a round of applause for what they were managed to create. And let me get out of here quickly. Thank you. Okay, yes, you can. I have to get the map out. There we go. So the original proposal, that original project is actually complete, but the work will continue still this year. Thanks to generous contributions from Neiman Foods Foundation and Align IFS, plans are underway to expand and improve the gardens at Urbana High School, to add a pizza garden at Fowler Farm, and to develop a mobile culinary cart so students can demo healthy dishes made with garden fresh produce. So we were just discussing that earlier. I'm going to go back to this lovely presentation here. I understand that you all received the 30th anniversary calendar. Is that correct? Okay, so in there are all of our grant deadlines for the whole year. That's one of the reasons that we produced the calendar. We'll be giving away $72,000 in grants this year, so we want to make sure that you help us spread the word. The collaborative grants, the ones that are for $5,000, that grant deadline is coming up first. It's October 2nd. And then the next grant cycle for just the competitive and compact idea grants, along with a gift for the fine arts, that cycle opens October 3rd and runs through the 31st. So we tried to make it so it was easy to remember. So other big news is that the CU Schools Foundation is the recipient of a new event this year called Mile at the Pines. Mile at the Pines is a mile-long foot race sponsored and organized by the Illinois Marathon. They approached us and wanted to make us the beneficiaries of the event, mainly because of Reynolds Towing and Susan Jepson, who is an Urbana grad. But it is not just an Urbana race. The event's going to take place in Urbana. It'll be at the Pines Shopping Center at the corner of Windsor and Philo in Urbana on Sunday, November 12th. And there'll be 9 heats, so 9 different races with different categories of runners, all starting at 1 o'clock. And I think the presentation for the elite runners is at 3, so things will wrap up about that by then. I don't want to get it wrong, so I think I'll let Dr. Owen talk about his challenge. And I also know that there's at least one other member of this group who has already registered for the race. And I'm looking at you, Paul.
Wow, so I guess I should thank you for not showing the video.
I know how my bread is buttered.
Yes, I'm a member of the Second Wind Running Club and a frequent participant in the Illinois Marathon activities. Friend of Jan Seeley, who is the director of the Illinois Marathon, and I saw her over the weekend at. She was volunteering at Pride Fest, and she and I started talking about a meeting that apparently Molly had with some people about throwing down some challenges. And I told Jan that I had no idea what she was talking about, but I would come up with some ideas. So I did throw out some challenges to Urbana School District, and I will tell you what those are. First of all, the first challenge is, because this is open to the community, and because I know that Unit 4 will also be participating heavily and advertising heavily, my first challenge is that if USD 116 has more employees enter the Mile at the Pines races than Champaign Unit 4, I will personally contribute an additional $116 to CUSF for the race.
He's already ahead, by the way.
Yeah, we're way ahead. I think we have 100% more than they have. And then the second challenge is, if a USD 116 employee posts a time that is faster than any Champaign or Champaign Unit 4 employee, I will donate an additional $116 to the Champaign-Urbana Schools Foundation. And then I'll also contribute $116 to the activity fund of that runner's choice. And that is not benefiting the CU Schools Foundation, but someone else. And finally, I'm looking at the other runners that walked into the room, apparently. And then the last challenge is one that I accidentally opened my mouth on opening day and went off script. And I had not heard about the Mile of the Pines until our August 16th opening day activities when Molly announced it. And I said, well, that sounds like a challenge. And so I think I said something about any Urbana School District employee who posts a faster time than I do, I will donate an additional $1 to the CU Schools Foundation for that race. I'm going to not have people go back to the tape on that one because I really don't remember exactly what I said that day regarding this race. And then I've also heard that there's going to be some kind of challenge between some Unit 4 administrator and myself. And so I will wait to find out what that is exactly before I say any more about it.
We haven't heard who that, we don't know yet.
We do not know yet.
That administrator has not been identified yet, but we anticipate it will come soon, I'm sure. So thank you, Dr. Owen, for being such a good sport about that and for doing what you can to promote the race. We invite, even if you are unable to run, we'd invite you to come out and encourage others, and we need volunteers for that day too. And actually we need volunteers for registration in the days leading up to that. So we'll keep you posted. Last but not least, I just want to let you know that the Idea Store has begun implementing Teacher Tuesdays, which means that the first Tuesday of the month, any teacher who comes in and shows their school ID will receive 10% off their entire purchase. So that is it. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I just think it's great that you're really moving forward, not only with the CU School Foundation, but I'm very happy the Idea Store, they've always been on board with this, and I know there's been a lot of great changes over there, so I'm happy about that.
Good, good. We're happy you're happy, Brenda. Anybody else?
I just want to commend you on your hard work. I mean, you
Well,
do
thank
such
you.
a great job.
I have a
And I
wonderful
hear
job.
it.
It's easy.
And I hear a lot in the community about the Idea Store too. So just keep up the great work because you're doing so well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you too. Keep up the good work, yes.
Yeah, in my superintendent's report, I'm going to give a couple more shout outs to Amanda and one of her colleagues because they have another big event going on this week. So Amanda's putting in a lot of extra hours this week in the evening. So thank you for coming out tonight.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank both of you. Thank you so much. Okay, there is no need for a public hearing. So we have some action items consent. So the first one is the August 22nd, 2017 business meeting. We have the September 5th, 2017 study session. Then we have the September bills and checks. Education fund bills, $497,000. Operation and maintenance fund bills, $381,000. We have transportation fund bills, $11,297. We have working cash bonds bills at $63,000. We have school facility occupation tax at $1,463,606. We have facility sales tax, there's nothing, am I correct? Tort, we have $88,240. Life safety levy, we have $98,343. Payroll, we have $2,841. Adult ed, we have $45,183. Interfund loans, none. Personnel items, approval of various personnel items will not be requested tonight. Resolution authorizing and directing the sale, disposal of personal property in accordance with 105 ILCS 510-22.8. Carol Baker, Chief Financial Officer, will request approval of the authorization and directing the sale of this disposal of the property in accordance with the ILCS 510-22-8 items on the list, a variety of music books. Did you want to say anything about it, Carol? Okay. Approval of a new activity account. Carol Baker, Chief Financial Officer, will request approval to create 2 new activity accounts and future city competitions at UMS and class of 2021 at Urbana High School. Approval of resolution in support of public education. Approval of a resolution in support of public education will be requested. Do we have a motion to approve the consent action items, or?
Could we pull out the resolution for support of public education separately? I'd like to vote on that explicitly.
Okay. So that is
That's 11.07.
11.07.
I'd like to approve the proposed, I move to approve the proposed consent agenda, save the resolution for support of public education.
And I'll second that approval.
Okay, do we have to have a roll call on that?
I think so,
then?
Yeah.
Because it's
Funding
still
money.
about funding.
Yeah, because we're hiring people and so forth. Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
busy reading through a note. We're roll calling. Oh, yes, okay. Member Carter.
Yes.
Member Hall.
Yes.
Member Patton.
Yes.
Member Pulaski.
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes, and Vice President Rollins Gay.
Yes. So we'll do that motion separately. So for all the others, we're talking
So we could do 11.07.
11.07. You want to do it now?
Yeah, sure. I would like to move that we approve the resolution in support of public education.
And I second that
Is there a
support.
second?
Yep.
Okay.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
I'm just wondering if we should read it again or not, for the public. I don't have a problem reading it if you'd like me to, unless you know.
Go ahead.
Urbana School District 116 Board of Education, resolution in support of public education. Urbana School District 116 supports and values an inclusive, safe, and innovative quality public education system that ensures all students can succeed regardless of their race, their native language, their gender, gender identity, their immigration status, their religion, their ability or disability, their social standing, or their zip code, and Urbana School District 116 promotes equity and excellence for students, educators, and administrators by implementing continuous improvement and research-supported best practices, and Urbana School District 116 advocates for policies that address the unique needs of historically marginalized students and families, and Urbana School District 116 supports creating stable, equitable, predictable, and adequate funding for schools based on local, state, and federal revenues that will meet the challenges of universal proficiency and provide the funding base needed to support a system which leads to success for all students. And Urbana School District 116 supports public school regulations and evidence-based accountability systems that should apply to all educational institutions receiving public funding. And Urbana School District 116 advocates for the highest quality public education for all students and develops and supports school leaders and educators. You want me to keep reading?
Started.
Whereas investing in public education is crucial to ensuring the future health of our economy and our country's global competitiveness. Students must leave their public schools ready for success in our 21st century society and ready to fill current and future jobs. A robust state and federal investment in education is necessary to equip schools with the resources, personnel, facilities, technology to position students to acquire the skills and knowledge needed for college and career success. And whereas without quality public education, there will exist a great divide between the educated and uneducated, corresponding to the divide between the rich and the poor and the strong and the weak. And whereas the existence of a strong, effective system of free public education for all children is essential to our democratic system of government, and whereas public schools provide students with broad-based educational opportunities to include learning multiple languages, having exposure to the history, culture, and context of all regions of the world, learning how to collaboratively solve problems and interact with peoples of different cultures and different lands, and developing empathy for human differences, commonalities, backgrounds, cultures, and whereas investing in public education is critical to student health. Public schools serve as a lifeline for children who can't access health services outside of school. Schools are uniquely positioned to help children and youth acquire lifelong health-promoting knowledge, skills, and behaviors. And whereas investment in public education matters, while the federal government contributes, on average, just over 10% of a school district's operating budget, the federal funds provide critical support to schools and the neediest of students they serve. And whereas getting children ready for democracy embraces the notion that to thrive, this nation must have citizens committed to the ideals and work of democracy, equipped to operate in a democracy and who can find common ground in their differences and respect where common ground is absent. Therefore, be it resolved, these statements exemplify the importance of enhancing educational opportunities for students. Therefore, the nation's public school superintendents call on local, state, and federal lawmakers to prioritize support for strengthening our nation's public schools and empowering local education leaders to implement, manage, and lead school districts. Urbana School District 116 advocates for local, state, and federal policy that is committed to supporting and educating the whole child, providing support for academic and non-academic factors, including counseling, extra co-curricular activities, as well as physical and mental health supports. Urbana School District 116 joins AASA, the School Superintendents Association, in support of the I Love Public Education campaign to tell the good news of public education, to engage in conversation related to ensuring that every community has access to a high-quality public school, and to support the leaders of our nation's public schools. Urbana School District 116 affirms its commitment to these values and will be steadfast in its efforts to protect students and their families, public schools, and our communities from any policies that would undermine these values. Urbana School District 116 urges Congress to ensure federal resources are allocated equitably, providing increased levels of support for all communities and districts.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, Brenda. Now, we need to have a motion to approve.
It's already been moved and seconded.
11.01?
Yeah, so now we just need to.
Oh, we
One
did.
is then we'd have to vote.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 11.0106 because he pulled that out separate.
No, we voted on it
Okay,
already.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Brenda read it.
Okay,
so.
sorry.
No, it's all right.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next action items are,
We need to vote.
Just all in favor?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I said. The motion, those are,
The motion's
yeah.
already been made.
Okay, so
We just need to vote.
11.07.
That's the.
Okay. So do I have a motion? Or vote?
We just need a voice vote. So
Do a
just go.
voice vote.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay, I thought those were individual votes when since she read that in its proclamation. Okay, so now we'll go to our action items. We have the following gifts. We have Shayla Matuka, Champaign, made a donation to the Michael Pollock History Scholarship. We have Matthew and Amy Andu, Urbana, donate $3,000 to each Urbana High School to use for special projects in Urbana High School bands. Then we have Jean and Tom Ward, Urbana, donated a Fox oboe and reed making tools to Urbana High School or middle school valued at $3,700. Then we have Kenneth Olson, Urbana, donated a book titled Managing Mississippi and Ohio River Landscapes, valued at $100 to Urbana High School Library. We have Jack Wallace, First Federal, donated $100 to Urbana High School. We have Belinda Porter, Urbana, donated educational supplies, books, toys, theme boxes, speech materials to Urbana Early Childhood School, valued at $3,960. Then we have Staples of Champaign. They donated 3 projector screens and 500 pencils to Urbana Early Childhood School, valued at $1,500. And is that Liz Maninsky, Champaign, Manicki, donated a Selmer LaVey TS240, wow, valued at $2,000, and a Selmer Tenor Sax TS701, valued at $900 to Urbana High School or middle school band program. W.M. Harmon Incorporated, Urbana, donated $999.99 to Dr. Preston L. Williams Jr. Elementary School for fine arts events. Scott Woods and Rachel Caldwell donated a Precord 921 treadmill to Urbana Middle School, valued at $500. Then you have Paul Kunkel, Urbana, donated a 3-valve baritone valued at $1,000 to Urbana Middle School band program. Do we have a motion to approve and accept the gifts?
So moved. Second?
All in favor by saying
Aye.
none opposed, so motion passed. Do we have, we're on 12.02, the FY18 Adult Education Budget Resolution. This is the approval of the final 2017-2018 budget, and this was requested. So, do we have a motion to approve 17-18 budget?
I move approval of the adult education budget.
Second?
Okay. Ruth Ann, could we please have a roll call?
Only if you insist.
Member Carter.
Yes.
Member Hall.
Yes.
Member Patton.
Yes.
Member Pulaski.
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes, and Vice President Rollins Gay.
Yes. We have 12.03 FY18 District Budget Resolution. Approval of the final 2017-18 district budget will be requested. Do we have a motion to approve the Adult Ed 17-18 budget?
This is the regular, our district budget.
Yeah, district. This is district.
Did you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just was wondering, Carol, if you've heard any other updates or if anything has came in from the state at all, any?
We don't have a lot of additional information that we didn't have 2 weeks ago. I was just going to mention that this is pretty tentative, again, as far as the evidence-based funding model. We still don't have a lot of information on that, but if anything comes in significantly different than what we've estimated in this budget, we will report back to the board. But right now, it's based on the information that we have at this time, so.
Okay, thank you. I just thought I would check in. You never know. There's always hope.
Well, that was a good question. Anybody else want to?
So, no, I'll go ahead and move acceptance of the district budget for 2017-18.
We'll second that.
Okay, Ruth Ann, could we please have a roll call, please?
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes, and Vice President Rollins Gay.
Yes. 12.04 Resolution of General Obligations Limited to Tax School Bonds, Series 2017. The resolution is providing for the issue of not to exceed $11 million General Obligation Limited Tax School Bonds, Series 2017 of the district for the purpose of increasing the working cash fund of the district, providing for the levy of taxes to pay the principal and interest on the bonds, and authorizing the sale of the bonds to Stafford, Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Do we have a motion on the floor?
Well, I'd like to have a question. Do we know the interest rate we're getting on these yet? Does it have to be sold, and then we'll get a report back after that?
I think they had a call today, but I've not heard anything about the interest rates. So I don't have any
So
information.
today was the day that they were going to lock in, right?
I think she was going to have some calls today about that. But I didn't get any emails about it, so I don't think there was anything.
Okay.
So we can
well,
report as soon as we find out.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. So,
So I'd like to move acceptance of this motion, of this,
Bond.
yeah, the bond sale for Yankee Bridge.
And I'll second that.
okay, then this calls for a roll call.
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes. Vice President Rollins Gay.
Yes. There are no future special meetings at this time, so now we'll go to Don, your superintendent's report.
Okay. We'll go through the FOIAs first, because we have a number of FOIAs. We completed five FOIA requests this month. One was for the Illinois Retired Teachers Association. They asked for email addresses of all teachers and administrators. Next was to Kyle Olson, who requested P-card and/or credit card transactions pertaining to district travel, as well as base salary benefits and stipends paid to administrators. Next one was to Kirsten Taylor Novotny, who asked for digital proof of specific student registration, date and time to Dr. Williams Elementary School. Next was to Smart Procure. They asked for vendor information. That's becoming a FOIA that we see, I think, twice a year, 2 or 3 times a year. And then the final one was Kirsten Taylor Novotny requested a copy of a subpoena issued to Ms. Yvonne Smith, former principal of Dr. Williams Elementary School. With that, I have just a couple other things to say. One is this Thursday night from 6 to 8 p.m., Amanda Rosser and Kayla Goodlow, who are career and technical education teachers at Urbana High School will be hosting a summer youth employment banquet, celebrating 3 years of summer youth employment here in Urbana School District 116. It will be a little bit of a celebratory banquet, inviting all the students as well as all of the host organizations back. And so I'll send information about that around. They did a wonderful job pulling this together fairly quickly, and I'm sorry that I didn't have more notice for the board, but if any of you are available to stop by and just see some of the students and thank some of the businesses who have sponsored our students during summer youth employment, that'd be great. As you know, the summer youth employment in Urbana has been funded in part through a grant from the Mental Health Board, as well as through grants from the Champaign County Community Coalition. And so we're going to be thanking Tracy Parsons and the Community Coalition, as well as the Regional Planning Commission, Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club, and all of the partner organizations that help Urbana School District run their summer youth employment program. Oh, and finally, last but not least, is the Care for You grant program that is run out of Illinois State University. All 4 of those organizations work very closely together. We pool all of those resources to provide the most bang for our buck for the summer youth employment program for students. As I said, that will be this Thursday, September 21st, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the high school in the Commons. So please come out if you can, even if it's just to stop by and say hi and see some of the students that have participated. Next, I already talked about Mile at the Pines. I don't need to go into that anymore. If you have any questions, let me know. Third is, you can see our board members are wearing I Love Public Education shirts. I did place an order for these shirts, and I ordered some extras. If anybody would like one of these shirts, I will sell them to you at cost, so you can just see me, and I'd be happy to. I have quite a few extras, so if you board members want an extra one, let me know. And then finally, just a point, because our homecoming parade is at a little bit different time this year, because it's a Friday, September 29th, is one of our staff development days. The high school gets out early, and so the homecoming pep assembly is from 11:30 to 12:30, and I will send this out in email to the board, and it's already going out on social media all over the place, and there is a press release being issued. But the pep assembly is from 11:30 to 12:30 on Friday, September 29th, and the parade will be immediately following the pep assembly from approximately 12:30 to 1 p.m., 1:15, around, pretty much along our regular parade route, which leaves from the high school, comes up Ray Street to Main, goes out Main to Vine, and then down Vine. Is that correct, Mr. Shark? Yes. We had to change the route one year when Ray Street was under construction, but we're back to kind of our traditional route along Main Street there. So that will go out. We'll also notify all of our partner organizations and the Urbana Business Association along Main Street so that they know that it'll be right at lunchtime. We'll be closing down Main Street for our parade. This year we are playing Champaign Central as our homecoming rival. And just a reminder that the homecoming game itself will actually be at noon on Saturday the 30th, because the University of Illinois, after we set our homecoming weekend date, the University of Illinois entered into a deal where they could have a game on Friday night broadcast live on one of the national television stations. And so, for a variety of reasons, we got bumped. And I will not comment any further than that. But our football game will then be an afternoon game. The dance will be in the evening. And in fact, this weekend is a big weekend. Let me just run through one other thing that's going on at the high school. As I talked about Welcome Week activities last week, I sent board members information about one thing that's going on after the football game on Saturday. at around 4 p.m., there's going to be a soccer game celebrating Welcoming Week that's going to be a parents and family members versus staff soccer game. And we're inviting all of the students in the dual language program, as well as any immigrant families. We have a number of French Congolese families who play a lot of community soccer, and so we expect a lot of family participation in the soccer game, and I've already sent out an email plea to staff members to sign up, because we'll need a fairly deep bench that day, I think, for our staff side. But if you don't want to play, if you just want to come out and cheer either side on, that starts at 4 p.m. on Saturday the 30th. Immediately following that, there will be a dinner in the UMS cafeteria, the cafetorium, just kind of as celebratory dinner, just very low-key and relaxed, but just as a way to thank everyone and celebrate the game and celebrate Welcoming Week. And then at 7 p.m. we have the homecoming dance. So busy weekend, and we hope to see everyone out. And I think that's it for my superintendent's report. So I will turn it back over to you.
All right, any board reports?
Just a reminder that the 26th, we have our IASB dinner meeting in Mahomet, so it's fairly close. If any of you are going to go, I know 5 of us are going to actually be able to go. So it's always a good learning experience, and it's always good to talk to other districts in our same region. So.
Okay. Any more board reports? I just want to say that this weekend was a busy weekend, and Don, Urbana Schools, him and Kathy, everybody that passed my Rosecrans table was talking about Urbana's table with those pride shirts. I kept hearing, I said, where's everybody? They were going. They passed me up and went around to, and then as I was packing up, was like 4 o'clock. So I said, let me go by here, and you saw Don and the principal at Thomas Paine had been there, and some other people, but they were still, Don was selling, people were buying those shirts. And I was just so impressed that even, see your superintendent, he was like a store clerk doing, so I was just so impressed, because it was a line of people after parade coming to get those shirts. And then some of the vendors downtown, Don, and you have to put those pictures everywhere, because it was just really, really great to see Urbana out there, because that's all I heard. And people were there from Charleston, everything, talking about our pride shirts. So I was very impressed. And then Urbana again, that was Saturday. Friday, I had a chance with Dion and some other people, because this money that we buy these Pink Panache tickets, which is my sorority too, but we buy the tickets to give scholarships. They give a large scholarships, and some of those come to our students. So Urbana had an ad in the book. So I just personally think, Don, you're putting us out there all the time when it comes to the kids and your staff, Kathy and everyone else. It's just your administrative team to put it, because they were out there really working. And I just want to say thank you as a board member, because I had this glow on my face. I was so proud of you all at what you do. And then Dion working with the scholarship, she had almost her whole church there. Okay, and I knew when I saw the church, I said, this is Dion. And Yolanda too, but it was Dion. So I want to just say she knew how bad these kids need this scholarship.
I'll point out that Yvonne Smith is a member of a different sorority, and so you want to be careful about that.
Right, I got to be careful. She is
I've
a
learned
Delta,
that lesson.
but right. Let me be, I got to make that different. But they really supported, well, all different Greeks were there in support for this. So I just want to tell, I see school administrators everywhere, and it means a lot. I see Bynum and his wife everywhere too, so it just makes me feel good because we're stepping out the box. So that's
Right.
all I had.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Kathy. It was her, her idea about 3 or 4 years ago to have us have a presence at Pride Fest. And I think we actually talked to more families and community members at Pride Fest than we did at some of our other events that we were at this summer. So that was, it's great. And Kathy, do you want to tell them about the business that purchased shirts for their entire staff for the day?
Oh, yes. Shout out to Big Grove Tavern, their wait staff, and everyone, I think in the kitchen too, are wearing our T-shirts in support for the day. They came and bought them.
Who designed them? I haven't seen this. Did a student design it, or was it?
Superintendent designed them.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there are Pride in You shirts with the rainbow on the back and hashtag Tiger Pride on the back. And we have shirts, 2 different kinds of shirts, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, and then a zipper bag and a string bag, all with our logo on them. Certainly a team effort. I want to make sure to thank all of our administrators who came out, worked the table in that heat, put in long days, and it was great meeting the community, being out there, supporting the kids. Our GSAs and our GSA sponsors for both UMS and UHS had tables there as well. Lots of kids.
Lots of them.
Excellent sponsors. Absolutely, absolutely. And so it's been several years here with lots of kids out, lots of families, and this event is growing and growing. And so for us to have 5 tables out there when, many organizations.
They did.
Yeah, don't have any. We take up a whole huge hunk, and we have for years. So, and we also have a lot of our employees who've been ordering the shirts and the sweatshirts and the bags since Pride Fest because they were sorry they weren't there to pick one up. So.
Well, thank you. I just think you all are great.
Great team effort.
Great team effort done, and your staff, administrative staff especially. So thank you. So are there anybody else want to say anything? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Okay, all in favor say. Aye. None opposed, meeting adjourned.